Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so right now, there's this fascinating and honestly kind of hidden collision of events happening all across the globe. Today, we're going to unravel the rapid intersections between our temporary economic relief, shifting global conflicts, and the absolutely massive physical footprint of the ongoing AI boom. We tend to think of the digital world as, well, abstract, right? Just floating around in the ether. But as we'll see, it is heavily, heavily bound by our physical reality. Let's get right into it.
So let's kick things off with this massive number, 3.5%. The latest data shows U.S. annual inflation just dropped down to 3.5%. And man, that is a huge sigh of relief for households. It was primarily driven by a massive plunge in gas prices during June. But, and there's always a but, right? Here's the catch. That drop was actually the direct result of a temporary U.S.-Iran ceasefire. It basically just gave the global market a quick moment to breathe. Well, that diplomatic relief we literally just saw, yeah, it's already vanished. The United States is back to enforcing its blockade of Iranian ports, and with two UAE-associated tankers recently struck in the Gulf, the contrast between last month and this month is incredibly stark. Because of these renewed hostilities and the resulting shipping slowdowns, oil is already rebounding. It's pushing near a one-month high of $85 a barrel.
So what's the big takeaway here? The crucial point is that our current economic relief comes with a massive geopolitical asterisk. That good inflation data we just celebrated, it's effectively looking in the rearview mirror. With disrupted supply chains, aviation warnings, and rising freight insurance risks across the board, this renewed conflict threatens to push inflation right back up. It just perfectly illustrates how quickly diplomacy can cool the economy down and, honestly, how fast conflict heats the whole shebang right back up.
All right, let's pivot over to the tech sector and see how this all builds together. Because despite those supply chain jitters and the market volatility we just talked about, the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index is still up a staggering 83% this year alone. 83%! That number is a real testament to the sheer, unbelievable scale of the AI chip rally we've been experiencing over the last several months. It's just off the charts.
And what this brilliantly illustrates is that we are actually entering AI's mature phase. We're past the initial hype. Financial markets are now demanding disciplined execution and measurable productivity. To keep up with this, giants like Meta are launching their own custom AI silicon, like the Iris processor launching in September. The whole goal is owning the complete stack. It turns out, dominating the ethereal cloud actually means getting your hands dirty with custom chips, physical data centers, and heavy power lines.
It is an incredible digital acceleration, for sure. But it leads us to a highly critical, very real-world question. What physically powers all this rapidly expanding, hyper-advanced AI machinery? Because the cloud isn't just magically floating up there in the sky, right? It lives on the ground, and it requires an absolutely astronomical amount of electricity to keep running. And the answer to that question brings us to a major physical collision point. These massive AI data centers are severely straining our power grids at the exact same moment that extreme weather is battering the country. We're talking inland heat waves pushing temperatures well above 110 degrees, placing intense pressure on regional grids, cooling systems, and of course, public health. So soaring domestic cooling demands are colliding directly with the massive 24/7 energy demands of AI. It's like a giant pressure cooker. Actually, this strain is so severe now that it's triggered a major policy shift. To prevent everyday regular utility customers, like you and me, from subsidizing this massive corporate expansion, tech companies are now being forced to pledge funding for their own power generation. Basically, if they want the computing power, they literally have to build and pay for the physical infrastructure themselves. They're essentially having to become their own utility providers, which is a wild shift. Finally, as we sit here and debate the physical limits of our digital world, we're seeing an incredible real-time reminder of why human connection actually matters. The World Cup semifinals are happening right now down in Texas and Georgia. It is the ultimate contrast to the predictable, manufactured world of AI. Despite the extreme heat warnings and all those travel disruptions we mentioned earlier, millions of people are coming together to share the raw uncertainty and excitement of an unscripted live moment.
It really puts the whole thing into perspective, doesn't it? As we watch these geopolitical tensions dictate our economic reality, and as technological breakthroughs completely redefine our capabilities, we have to stop and ask, as AI masters our digital world, how will we balance our relentless digital ambition with our very real physical and human constraints? Think about it. Just how tethered is our virtual future to the physical ground we stand on? It's a huge question, and something we're all going to have to figure out together.